not even mean Bauer's game for me.
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, and today we're excited to check out Foodies from CMON. This is for 2 to 5 players. Age is 14 plus. It'll take about 20 to 30 minutes to play. And in Foodies, this is a really simple game in which you are going to be building a mall food court by purchasing different types of food that you're going to be placing into your food court. And then you're going to be putting them over numbers, and when those numbers get rolled on a die, you're going to collect money or victory points based on what you put into that spot. And then if you could put certain things next to each other, it's going to get you more points, more stars. It's an engine building game, a really simple gateway-esque engine building game. It's got some great artwork, but doesn't have some great gameplay. Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think. And we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Foodies. So first and foremost, we got our handy-dandy rule booklet, 8 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples. Very well done for the most part, and should have you up and running pretty smoothly. The only thing that I do want to complain about is the fact that they don't cover what these little dashes mean right here. I'm pretty sure this means you get both the coin and coins for each of the peppers you have, but it should be covered in the rule booklet. And they do that stupid thing that I hate game companies do when they give you like an example. It's like, this is what this one means. It's like, yeah, we know what that one means, but give me one of the more confusing examples. And it's like one of those ones where I'm like, I know it because I play tons and tons of games, but would the casual person getting into the game, would they think this is either or until they saw the dash? Because some of them do have dashes. But anywho, let's go over what you're going to be doing in Foodies, which is you're racing to be the first person to get to 20 points in a 2- and 3-player game, and I think it's 30 if you're playing a 4- and 5-player game. How you're going to do that is you're going to follow these 3 easy phases right up here, and I'll walk you through those, and I'll show you a couple mock rounds of the game. But first, let's get into the components. So everybody's going to get your food court right here. This is where you are going to be setting up your food, and everyone is slightly different where their coins are. You're also going to have 2 spots that are blank, and you'll put a physical coin on each one of those spots. Everyone's going to start with 3 coins, and everyone's also going to start with a certain number of these things, which are like brochures, I think they're called, and I'll tell you how those work a little bit later. Other than that, you just want to have your coins nearby. They're in increments of 1s to 3, your stars nearby, and then you're going to set up the board. So when you first set up the board, you're going to pick 5 different random types of cuisine, and then place those cuisine out here after you've shuffled them up. So right now, I think we have green, blue, purple, yeah, it doesn't matter. But they are all slightly different, and they all have different abilities and powers that they can utilize, and we'll go over a couple more of those a little bit later. Also, you're going to set out 2 random chef cards up here. These are one time only. One person is going to be able to earn these, and they're going to get you 3 points immediately, which, if you're going to 20, or 30 for that matter, is a good chunk of points. You'll also have this spot right here, which is not a card, even though it looks like a card, and that's just once per turn. You can always spend $4 to get a star. Not really good early on, but towards the end of the game, you're definitely going to have some extra money, most likely, once your engine starts churning, because at its core, this is an engine building game. But let's go into step 1, 2, and 3. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to take turns. Well, you're going to decide who's the first player. They'll be the first player for the entire game. Roll the dice and see what you collect. So for me personally, I would collect the $1 that's on my 8. Someone else might collect something different. So let me grab another board. Yeah, this person would collect $1 every single time they rolled 8, and somebody else might collect $2. So now that I've collected my $1, I can now acquire a new food stall, and these are the food stalls out here. They have prices ranging from 6 down to 2. And let's see, which one would be pretty useful? I think this American one would be pretty useful for right now, plus it's only $2. So the American ones are relatively simple. This one means that if you have the most or are tied for the most types of American cuisine, you are going to be able to get 3 coins every time this is triggered. You also gain 1 coin every time this is triggered as well. Now you also see that there's half stars right here, because if you can complete the stars, then you're going to be able to start getting stars as well when this number comes up. So I'm going to fill in my 8 right here. So now that's going to be a good one. I can put a star here, I can put a star here, and let's see if I can do that. So now all these are going to go down 1. Flip over a new one. And then, wow, we got a lot of American cuisine. And then we check. Hire chefs. I obviously can't hire any chefs right now. These are the chefs up here. And that would be my turn, and then it would move on to the next player. So the next player is also going to roll the dice. And every single person at the table is going to collect each time the die is rolled. So you are going to be having to pay attention every single time. So a 5 would mean that I personally would get 2 coins, and then, you know, maybe they'd buy this American cuisine because it's going to give them a star. So boom. That one goes out of play. Let's just pretend we're playing a 2-player game and it gets back to me. So I'll roll the dice up again, and I got myself a 7. I'll get my 1 coin. And since that guy bought American cuisine, I want to keep up with the American cuisine. And yeah, I'll buy this one right. Which one do I want? Yeah, I'll buy the expensive one. I'll buy the 5. Put that hot dog right there. Boom. So now every time a 7 or an 8 is rolled, I'm going to get 1 star, 1 victory point, which is really nice as well. But I am out of money, but that's not the end of the world. Because, as I said, most of the time you were always going to be collecting money on someone else's turn. So they went, I would get 1 coin because they rolled a 6, and let's just say they want to keep up with the cuisine as well, the American cuisine. So they might buy that one. And that is what can happen in this game, depending on what comes out. And ooh, so now we got an interesting one out here. So this one is going to get you a coin and a star, which is automatically great. But it's also going to allow you, so let's say it was right here on the 6. I could put a coin here, here, and here, or here, here, and here, which means I'll be putting coins on there, which is obviously a good thing. Let's get back to it. 7 or 8. 7 or 8. Boom, I got an 8. So this is great. So now I can show you how this works. So since I triggered my 8, I'm going to get a coin immediately. So I'll get 1 coin. Nice. And then I'm also going to get 3 coins because I'm tied for first place on the American cuisine. So I'm going to get 3 points as well. But then I'm also going to get a star, which I'll move up 1 on the star track because 8 has a completed star on it. And so then the other person would collect what they would do, and I would buy something. And at this point, what do I got? $4. Ooh, let's start mixing it up. Let's go get these chili peppers right here. So I'll pay $2. I'll get that one right there. Slide them all over. And we rinse, wash, and repeat. And that is pretty much the entirety of the entire game. You're going to do that until someone gets to 20 points. Once someone has reached 20 points, you are going to finish out the round. Because as I mentioned, there is a first player token. And who has the most points at the end of the last round will be the winner of the game. Now, I did forget to mention this aspect right here, which is this is going to allow you to change the number, so to speak. So how this works is it only changes the number for you. It doesn't change the number for anybody else. And it allows you to, instead of activating, say, let's say it was a 4 that got rolled, I could activate the 1, 5, or the 7. Anything that is orthogonally adjacent, so obviously I'd probably trigger the 7 because that's going to give me $4 and a star. But once you use this, it is gone. And only some, these are very, very rare, so you want to make sure you take very good care of these and use them at the right time. But anywho, you're going to continue to do that until someone has triggered the end of the game, and then whoever has the most points will be the winner of Foodies. So let's take a look at some of the other different types of nationalities and their special abilities. So this one, you want these ones next to each other because for each one that it's next to, it's going to get 2 coins. This one right here is going to get you stars, which is nice. So you got to put a star physically on stuff. This one's going to get you coins and put stars on there. This one is going to get you a star for each one if you have the most. So that one's really nice. Let's see. This one is just going to allow you to physically put stuff onto it, which is an interesting one as well. This one's going to allow you to put coins and stars on there. This one's a little bit of a jack of all trades. But that in a nutshell is what you're going to get inside of Foodies. Alrighty then, Foodies from CMON. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. This is a very super simple light game. Honestly, I think it's a little bit too light for my taste personally. It's not a game that I didn't enjoy, per se, because I have enjoyed every time I played it, and I enjoyed playing it with kids. But when it comes to playing with adults, I don't think I'm going to reach for this game too terribly often, or probably ever again, to be honest with you, just because most of the people I play with, if we're going to play a filler rate game, we do want to make some more interesting choices. And this one was just a little bit too much luck-based. You know, and I had this happen. Actually, one of the games in my class, some kid put an awesome spot on 7, and then it just 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. And even when it wasn't 7, he had saved his little menus or his the little rectangle things that let you change your number a little bit. And he used all 3 of them. I think he had 3 to go to the 7 spot. And he ended up crushing us just because he had a great 7, and 7 just kept getting rolled. And that can absolutely happen. I also saw that happen, I think, when we first played this at Origins, when we demoed this. So it does have a huge luck factor in the game, and obviously you can kind of mitigate that by placing a good spot on your 7 as well, but it might be too late for that in some instances. Also, you know, I really would have liked just a little bit more meat on the bones, a little bit more variety, because yes, there are 10 different types of nationalities. Some of them feel somewhat samey. None of them feel like, wow, that's crazy, that's totally out there, except for the ones that are majority ones, which I do like. But overall, none of them feel like they're crazy reinvent the wheel type of stuff, and I understand why. They wanted to make this a simple, light, gateway game with really appealing artwork, and they did all that. But if you're not in the market for that, this is not going to be your cup of tea, I don't think. Any other cons? I did have that one issue with the rule booklet where I wish they would have given you more examples, especially considering the back page is completely wasted on nothing but artwork. Just it just drives me nuts when companies do that. You know that this card is probably going to give people more issues than any of the other cards. So you know which card you should use as your example in the rules? You should use that card. And so many companies don't do that. And it annoys me. I don't understand why they do that. But it's not a big deal. And I think most people are going to be able to figure it out. But I do think if this was the first time playing the game and you don't play many hobby games, you just happen to pick this up for some reason, I think that could throw some people off, which obviously is going to frustrate them because the answer, I did not find it in the rule booklet. So that is a ding on the rule booklet as well. Last con I have, nitpick more than anything, is the box insert's really nicely done. It has spots for everything, but only if you don't tip the box over. If you tip the box over, then all that stuff falls to the side, which is annoying. It's annoying. But moving on to the pros, I thought Foodies was a really solid gateway-esque game, and I can recommend this if you were in the market for a light, simple gateway game that's easy to learn, easy to teach, very quick to play. You can probably bust this out in about 15-20 minutes once you know what you're doing. Not too many difficult choices in this one. There's not going to be any analysis paralysis as you crunch numbers. It's just like, oh, that one looks like it's going to be the best one for me. I'll buy it, and hopefully it gets roll. And that's pretty much the amount of strategy that's in this game, which, as I said, is going to be a turn-off to some people. But I did like the fact that there's variability. There's going to be 10 different types of foods right out of the gate. I think there's 4 or 5 different chefs, so that is going to mix it up a little bit. And honestly, with how different the dice are going to roll from game to game to game, it's going to impact your strategy, and you can have some fun with it because it's so light and so quick where it's like, oh, I had like this super great spot and it never got rolled. Like, that was the first thing I bought. I spent $6 on it. I thought it was going to be great, and it didn't do anything. And if you like those types of moments in games, this could be a game that I think you're really going to enjoy. For me personally, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It's not something I'm going to keep. It's something that I'm actually probably going to give to my buddy Eric because he's much more into the lighter family style stuff, and I think this would be right up his alley. So in the end, Foodies from CMON. I think it's a good game. I don't think it's a great game, but I think if you're in the market for a lightweight filler game that does have a little bit of choices and a little bit of interesting stuff going on, this is definitely one you might want to check out. That is Foodies from CMON. If you enjoy what I'm doing, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. If you want to support the channel, click on that little Amazon associate link down below. Buy anything on Amazon, throws a couple pennies towards my face. And in the comments below, let me know, when you go to the mall food court, what is your choice? What's your choice? What's your thing you normally go to? Obviously, I know sometimes you mix it up. Maybe go to the Taco Bell. Maybe get the Chinese food. Maybe even go to the Shub Shack. Who goes to the Sub Shack? I don't go to the Shub Shack. Never. Sometimes. But mostly for me, it's just the Chinese. There's like 2 or 3 Chinese places that are all pretty much the same. There's like the Bourbon Chicken place that's pretty much just Chinese food. I don't even know why they call it New Orleans Bourbon Chicken because, let's be honest, you're just a Chinese place. But yeah, I go to one of those 2 or 3 Chinese places pretty much every time. But let me know in the comments below. What do you get at the food court? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.